the Whispering Lighthouse. On the edge of a rocky shore, where the sea meets the sky in an eternal dance of mist and waves, stood an old lighthouse. It was known as the Whispering Lighthouse, not for the sound of the wind or the waves crashing against the rocks, but because of the strange whispers that could be heard from within its stone walls. For generations, the lighthouse had been tended by solitary keepers, each of them reporting the same inexplicable phenomenon. At night, when the moon hung low and the sea was calm, they would hear soft voices murmuring from the lighthouse's upper tower. It wasn't the wind, those who listened carefully said it was something else, something human, or something not quite human. The latest keeper, a young man named Elias, had heard the stories before he arrived, but he didn't believe them. He thought it was just superstition, the kind of tale sailors tell to pass the time. But as the days went on, the whispers became harder to ignore. On his first night alone in the lighthouse, Elias climbed the narrow stairs to the top. The lighthouse beam cut through the dark, sweeping over the black water below. He stood there for a long time, staring out at the sea, trying to ignore the creeping feeling that something was watching him. But then it began, the whispers. Soft at first, as if carried by the breeze. Then louder. He could almost make out words, but they were foreign, strange, as though the voices were speaking in a language from another time. Elias felt a chill spread through him. He turned and rushed down the stairs, but the whispers followed him, echoing in the walls. Desperate to silence them, he tried everything, locking the doors, closing the windows, but nothing worked. The voices only grew louder, more urgent. He finally ran outside, the salty air stinging his skin, and looked up at the towering lighthouse. The light still swept across the horizon, but it was different now. The beam seemed to pulse, as if alive, casting shadows that danced and shifted. A voice called to him then, clear and sharp, as if right behind him. "Elias," it whispered. "You cannot escape. We have been waiting." Frightened, Elias turned to see a figure standing in the shadows of the lighthouse's base, a silhouette of a man with glowing eyes. The figure stepped forward, and Elias stumbled back in terror. "Who are you?" he gasped. The figure smiled. "We are the lost ones, trapped here by the sea. And now, so are you." The wind howled, and the ground beneath Elias's feet seemed to shift. In a panic, he ran back toward the lighthouse, but it was no longer the place he had known. The door was gone, the stairs twisted into an endless spiral, and the whispering voices filled his ears, drowning out all else. The next morning, when the townspeople came to check on the lighthouse, they found it dark and silent. The light no longer shone, and there was no sign of Elias. Only the faintest whispers could be heard, carried on the wind from the cliffs above. And so, the Whispering Lighthouse remained, its mysteries deepening with each passing year. Some say that on stormy nights, if you listen carefully, you can hear the voices of those lost to the sea, or perhaps the voice of Elias, still calling out from the depths of the lighthouse, forever waiting for someone to free him. This version is based on the haunting legend of a mysterious lighthouse that traps its keepers, with whispers that are more than just sounds, they carry with them a sinister power. The story speaks to isolation, the supernatural, and the struggle between the living and the unknown forces that dwell at the edges of the world.